This is how you know that you're about to experience a breakthrough, because breakthroughs typically, they don't look like breakthroughs when you're going through them. A lot of the times it looks like pain, pressure, spiritual warfare, closed doors, and all of these different things that may be going in your life that feels like a struggle. You might be feeling like you're about to give up, whatever it may be. And so I want you to know that I'm qualified to talk about this, because these points, I wrote some stuff down, and these points that I am going to bring up, I was actually taking notes while I was going through what I was going through. So first, let me preface, we just had our best month in wholesale. We were absolutely crushing it. We did really well, just had our best month. The next month, we did about half of that revenue. It was a little strange, wasn't worried. The next month, we did probably about another half of that revenue. And so it was even worse. From then on, it just kept getting worse. Things weren't looking good. There was no longer like light at the end of the tunnel. We just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I felt like it was gonna get better. And then the next month after that, I didn't even know that it could get worse. None of our deals were closing. We ended up closing 6 deals, which is extremely low for us. We're typically selling about 6 a week. So we had a really low month. I just knew if I kept working, kept praying, kept doing the thing that I'm supposed to do every single day, that it would end up working out for me, that God would bring me back and give me something even bigger. And so I just wrote some things down of like points I was feeling, things I was noticing while going through this. I actually went back and tried to find stuff within the Bible of how all of these things can relate to the Bible, how this is all backed by the Bible, because it's true. I'm going to give you 8 points, or 7 points actually, 7 points of what I was going through, how this is all backed by the Bible. But first, I want to preface, it's just mandatory for us as human beings, for us to go through trial. We're either going into a trial, we're coming out of a trial, or we're in a trial, right? We're typically in one of those 3 stages. And so I wrote down a verse, James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So why does that exactly matter? And it's pretty much telling you that trials are expected. And it's crazy too, because we were doing so well for like 9 months, 10 months, even longer, honestly, like 12 months. We hadn't done anything less than like 10 deals in a month. And so I was like, man, just living on top of the world, thanking God, and everything was amazing. Relationships were amazing. My relationship with God was amazing. I was praying, reading my Bible every day. Everything was great. And we still need to expect a trial, right? Like no matter where we are in life, we're going to just get hit with a trial. So again, we're either going into a trial, we're in a trial, or we're coming out of a trial, right? Those are the only 3 stages that we're really ever in. And I think it's amazing because, again, no matter what level we're going to be at in life, we're always going to experience a trial. And why? Because we need to lean into our faith. We need to mature. We need to grow. And that is how we grow, is by going into trial after trial. And it's really interesting. So, you want obviously to have a breakthrough. And, you don't realize that this breakthrough comes with trials sometimes, and it comes with pain and suffering. And there's a lot that kind of goes into this. So if you're going into a trial, if you're in a trial, do not run from it, because this is a sign that you're about to have a breakthrough. And I hope that all of these points hit home. So number 1, the first point of being in a trial, about to experience a breakthrough, the first thing is you're going to experience spiritual attacks. Like, it just happens. The devil wants to come after you. And so the verse that I brought up is Ephesians 6, verse 12. And so, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers and against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. So going into this, right, like we know that we're not dealing with flesh and blood whatsoever. It's all spiritual. Everything is spiritual, right? And so what happened with Jesus, right? Right before he started his ministry, he was fasting and Satan started to attack him, right? He had all these different attacks, 3 different times, I think it was, that Satan tried to attack him. And so right before he started his ministry, right before he began this huge thing that obviously we all needed as Christians for him to come and save our life. But right before that happened, he was attacked in the wilderness and then broke through into his purpose of saving us. And so that is huge. You're definitely going to have spiritual attacks, and that can look like many things. I mean, for me, it was really crazy because it felt like I was getting closer to God, and then I felt like God would get further away, and I would just pray harder and harder. And I felt like, all of a sudden these negative thoughts are coming in of my relationship with God, my business, my relationship with now my fiance, just all of these different things. And so all this negativity was kind of coming, and you just have to pray through it and not believe any of it, right? And you have to be able to use your sword, which is the Bible, to protect yourself. It's our weapon, right? So we use God to protect ourselves and defend ourselves against Satan, and because he does want to come and destroy us. And so that brings me to my second point. You will feel extremely uncomfortable. You feel pressure. And again, same thing with me and my business. It's like I felt so much pressure to perform, to make sure my people are getting paid. Like, to be completely transparent, we were negative in 1 month. And, it's because I have payroll and all these systems and all of these things that I have to pay for in order for the business to actually run. And so I felt so much pressure and stress of like, man, I just got to make sure my people get paid. I just got to make sure my people get paid. So it's like we were negative. And so you will just feel uncomfortable and feel this pressure. And so Romans 8:18, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us, right? And that's so good too, because it's just going to show that if we just go through the suffering, we stay steadfast in the Lord, pray harder than ever, read the Bible more than ever, and we keep working really, really hard at whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing, that there will be great glory that will be revealed. And so it's really amazing. And you just have to think about too, right? Like, diamonds are formed under the highest pressure. Like, the most beautiful gem is formed under the highest amount of pressure on this earth. Gold is refined by fire. You got to go through failure. You got to go through discomfort for you to actually hit the success. Why? Because this is preparing you. It's preparing you. And no matter what level you get to, it ends up recurring. Like, it ends up happening again. It's just a different way. And so you'll just feel the pressure in a different way. Because when I even first started in real estate, I wasn't even that stressed. I had no money when I first started in real estate. I had maybe $500 to my name, $1,000 to my name. And I did not even feel that stress as I did right now. So it happens that no matter the level that you get to, you will feel that pressure, that uncomfortableness of whatever it is that you're going through. And it's just preparation to get you to where you're wanting to go, where you're supposed to go, where God has called you to go. And so point number 3, you are being forced into situations that require deep critical thinking. And so that is pretty crazy, because Joseph in Genesis chapter 41, he was forced to interpret Pharaoh's dreams, right? A moment requiring high-level thinking under pressure. The moment led to his breakthrough into second command over Egypt. If he wasn't able to do that and do it in that time, he might not have ever been second in command in Egypt. And I would also like to say too, Pharaoh was telling him about his dream, and he pretty much said, I don't interpret dreams, God does, right? And so he just leaned heavily into the Lord to help give him his gift, which put him into a breakthrough, being second command into Egypt. So it looks like a test, but it's actually just a divine setup, right? And so again, there's just always going to be attacks spiritually, right? And so number 4 is now attacks physically, mentally, and even within business, right? And so I was sharing a lot of this stuff within business, but like mentally, right? I was telling you about all these negative thoughts that I was having, and I'm a very positive person. I deal with stress very well. Even when I was going through this or am going through this, I don't show it. I am not one to really wear my emotions on my sleeve. I can, remain pretty calm. And but I definitely was being attacked mentally and like even physically too. Like parts of my body were hurting. And there's a lot of things that, again, we deal with spirit. And so the spirit will then manifest into our physical, which can cause injuries or pain or something along those lines, or even for us to overcompensate in the gym and end up hurting ourselves or something like that. So I was like feeling shoulder pain and back pain and like all of these things. And so it was just really crazy. And even again, within my business, right? Like there was just so many attacks within my business that it just felt like it was never ending. And just this pressure was just building up and building up. And so the verse I brought up for this is John chapter 10, verse 10. And the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the fullest. And so the point being is that Satan doesn't rob empty houses. So it's crazy to think, right? If you're under attack, it's probably because you're carrying something valuable, right? The enemy is going to try and distract you. He's going to try to delay you, destroy you, and let you not be into your calling, whatever that may be. He doesn't want you to become successful. He doesn't want you to have that breakthrough relying on God. He wants you to have that breakthrough relying on him, or he wants the success speed to be that you did it, not God did this for you. And so that is huge. So the enemy is trying to distract you, delay you, or destroy you. He doesn't rob empty houses, right? So if you're under attack and it just continuously happens and over and over and over again, like you're a pretty special person. So don't see being attacked as like a threat or, something that's bad, right? Because we just have to lean into God continuously and he will bring us out of it. Like he will for sure. And so point number 5, you get downloads, like just freaking information. You're like, what the heck just happened? And it's not like from reading stuff or whatever. It's just like, oh, this is a good idea. So it's like, it's divine revelation. And so you just get these divine downloads from God. And you're like, oh, this makes sense. And I can't tell you how many times throughout this journey or having a big one and just being like, oh, we're restructuring the business. This is how it's going to look now. These are all the things. And it's just like, I didn't even think of stuff like that before. And so Jeremiah 33:3, call to me and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. And so this just goes into the point of like, with Noah, right? In the ark, like he didn't just be like, oh, I'm just going to go and build an ark. Like God gave him the download of like, go and build an ark. This is how I want you to build it with these materials. This is how big. He just gave him the exact blueprint, just a download of the blueprint to go and build the ark. So divine download. So when you start receiving wisdom, dreams, divine ideas, like this is stuff that's coming from God, that's calling you and giving you the blueprint. So downloads always precedes destiny. So keep your downloads, keep writing them down, and then take action on them immediately. When they're coming from God, you need to take action on it immediately. Like, and you can even ask him too, like, God, do you want me to do this right now? Or is this something that you want me to wait on? And he'll let you know right away. And so number 6, this one is huge. And I wouldn't say I experienced it to this extent, but you're on the verge of quitting. And so for me, I did not feel like, man, I'm just going to quit real estate. I did have a couple of those thoughts, not going to lie. My thoughts were, man, I'm just going to wipe the whole team and just do this all on my own. And that was not a good thought, right? And I did have thoughts of like, man, what other businesses are really good? But like real estate's the best business I think out there. And so, you can feel like you're on the verge of quitting, which is huge, and that's how you know you're about to have that breakthrough. And so the verse is Galatians 6, verse 9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. If we do not give up, right? And so that's when you're on the verge of quitting and you do not give up, that you're going to have that breakthrough right there at that hardest point when it's like, man, I'm done. I'm just freaking done. You're going to have that breakthrough right then and there. And it all comes from God. And so the devil loves to give us the temptation to quit. And it could be with anything that you're dealing with. It could be with going to the gym or a relationship or your business, whatever it means. But we cannot give up, because God says if we give up, we're not going to reap that harvest. And it could be a very freaking big harvest. And so the last point I would like to say is that doors are closing or things get delayed. And I can't tell you how. We sold probably like 12 deals in July and 6 of them closed. And probably 4, no, not even, maybe 3, maybe even more than 12. But 4 of them got delayed into August. And I think we had another 3 that fell out of escrow, and we had to confiscate buyer's EMD. And it's like, man, what the heck is going on? That's like literally what I felt and how I was dealing with it. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I can't believe this. How are these deals just one after another? It felt like every single one had a problem, and it's just things get delayed and doors can close. And so God talks about in Acts chapter 16, 6 through 10, how Paul, he wanted to preach in Asia, but was kept by the Holy Spirit from doing so. And you should totally read on that, because it literally says the Spirit of Jesus did not allow them. The Spirit of Jesus did not allow Paul to go preach in Asia. But this was only because he was redirecting him into a different direction. And that was to Macedonia, where a major revival started, And I wrote some of the stuff down that happened in Macedonia, but Paul was originally trying to go into Asia, but the Holy Spirit stopped him. And then again, this is the crazy part too, he received the vision to go to Macedonia. Just a download. He just received a download to go to Macedonia. And so it says, they had a huge revival, that they were converting people one after another. He casted out a demon, he was thrown into prison, but God sent an earthquake opening up every door in the prison. And he actually ended up writing Philippians because of this. And so the Philippian church became known for their generosity and partnership in the gospel. And Paul later wrote one of the most joyful letters. That's what I wrote down, the book of Philippians, thanking them, for their faith, support, and perseverance. And so it's just crazy how God can close doors. But if you just keep pushing and listening to his divine wisdom, he will open up new ones for you. He will do whatever it is to get you through it. And you may not see light at the end of the tunnel. These delays, the doors closed, they're not denials. They're just divine redirections. Some doors have to close for God to open up a new one for you. And I can't tell you how many times that has happened, with relationships or churches or, whatever it may be with business. And it's like he's just freeing up your time for you to go and deal with something that is actually going to be worth your time. Because like all of this stuff was happening, and then it was like, boom. Literally, we sold, I think, 38 grand in deals in one day. Like, we had 3 cancellations within 7 days, a bunch of deals delayed. One day, like literally right after, sold 35K in deals. And I was like, what the heck? And they're easy ones. One of them already closed. And this happened last week, by the way. One of them already closed. So they're just super simple, no problem. Got earnest money right away. It freaking made sense. So when God is closing a door, He's opening up a new one for you. And so, like, that's pretty much, those are the 7 points. And so I just want to say that, when you're going through a breakthrough, it doesn't look like a breakthrough. It looks like it hurts. It doesn't look like it hurts. It freaking does hurt, but it's only to make you stronger. It's only to push you through. It's only to make you better. It's only to help you grow. Like, you can't, when you're a child and you have growing pains, it's like you're literally growing. So it's like you have to go through the pain in order to grow. You have to suffer. And just knowing this helped push me through. Like, I just going through these issues of business, and like, I just got engaged, and I'm like, man, now I gotta go and plan a wedding and like do all of these things, and it's like, and we're not really doing well in business, and all the negative thoughts start happening. Like, I gotta provide for my future wife and all of this stuff. And so it was like, it was so tough, and there was so much pressure, and like, I just knew, oh my God, I know you got something for me. I know you're gonna get me through this. And like, literally just praying and leaning into him and asking him questions like, Lord, what do I do on this situation? How do I respond? What's the best way for me to go about this? Whatever it was, I would just lean into him. And I promise you, he's going to get you through. So stay faithful, stay focused, and remember, your pain is often proof that the promise is near, because I guarantee you it is. Breakthroughs happen, and they happen on the other side of this pain, the pressure, and all of these things. And like, I just want to share too, the crazy thing is we are now set up to close. We have more assignment fees in escrow right now than we've ever had at one time, even more than we did in 1 month. And it's just wild. And we set that up in 2 weeks. So it's like, we know we can do more now, and all of this stuff happened because I went through all the pain. I stayed steadfast in the Lord, stayed steadfast in the work, just did the work over and over and over again. And it felt like everything was just getting delayed and things were just pushed away. But like, when you just stay working, stay diligent in the work, it will happen. It will come through. So those are the 7 points of how you know that you're going to experience a breakthrough, backed by the Bible.